This is the Transformers Generations Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Beachcomber and Paradise Parakeet. Here's a quick look at the box art, packaging, fantastic box art, and it's an Evo Fusion figure and it transforms in 11 steps. I picked up this figure from Robo. Let's get this guy out of packaging. And here is Legacy Evolution Beachcomber out of the box, and the figure looks absolutely fantastic. The sculpt is pretty good. It's very G1. The colors are very accurate. Articulation is great. Transformation is, as you would expect, how G1 Transformers would transform with a little extra. He's got great articulation, great sculpting, great detail, colors overall, and some extra things that Hasbro added that really make this a premium figure in my opinion. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new Legacy Evolution Beachcomber. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 12 centimeters tall, or about 4 2/3 inches tall. And for comparisons, here he is with fellow Generations mini-bots. We've got Cliffjumper and Bumblebee. We've got Cosmos over here, Huffer, and Warpath. So he's not as small as I thought he would be. I honestly thought he would be as small as these Bumblebee and Cliffjumper molds, but he's about as tall as Cosmos and Huffer. And here he is with other Deluxe class figures of varying sizes. We've got a very large Deluxe right here with Impactor, and the standard sized Deluxe with the crosscut or skids mold. The figure comes with a couple of accessories. First off, he's got this pet, Parakeet, Paradise Parakeet. And it's a tiny accessory made of this very soft rubbery plastic. It's painted actually pretty nicely. I mean, there's some smudging here and there on the feathers, but the eyes, I mean, talk about skill in painting with the manufacturing just to paint those beady eyes. But to be quite honest, there's really nothing that this accessory does to improve the figure. I mean, it's a nice touch that they actually had this. You can plug it in onto his shoulder, right here, on his forearm. But honestly, it's too tiny. It's gonna get lost. If they're marketing this toy to kids ages 4 and up, kids are gonna swallow this or inhale it or whatever. It's just too small, too flimsy. And it's a waste of budget. There's a lot of paint involved in this particular accessory. I think they could have done something else. Honestly, this is the most useless thing about this set. They could have actually given him another gun or just covered up the empty spaces of the gun. I mean, they could have used the budget somewhere else. But speaking of the gun, here is his blaster. Magnificently painted with this high gloss black finish, but there's a lot of gaps here and there which the plastic on this one could have easily filled up. It's made of gray plastic but painted amazingly in high gloss black finish. Now the instruction, well, not the instructions, the instructions doesn't say anything about this, but the box, as I shown earlier, says Evo Fusion. Look at that. And here's how it works. The instructions don't tell you how to do it, but from the box I can surmise this is how the Evo Fusion works. You get the gun and you plug it onto his fist like this, and bam, look at that Evo Fusion. That is honestly the coolest thing about this figure, this Evo Fusion. Plugging that gun onto his fist. What an amazing gimmick, man. Onto the details of this figure. Look at this amazing G1 styled sculpt. There's hardly any kibble. I mean, even the back kibble is functional as heel spurs. You got the headlights of the dune buggy. I mean, amazing. And he's got some amazing wheels, which I'll talk about later in alt mode. But just look at the robot sculpt. It's very solid plastic. No complaints from me. And the details, paint apps, even that gray plastic looks pretty premium. I mean, you can't beat this figure. It's just too cool of a Beachcomber figure. Now the articulation, head or the neck is on a ball joint. You got a waist swivel. Shoulders can go in and out, forward and backward, 360. You got a bicep swivel. Hinge elbow. Wrists can swivel. The hips are on hinges. You can do the splits, you do forward and backward. You got a thigh swivel. You got a hinge knee. You got an ankle rocker tilt. One final bit of comparison. We couldn't do a proper Beachcomber review without comparing him to his predecessor from the Generations line. We have the Power of the Primes, Legends Beachcomber. And man, look how far this guy has come. And the old figure, I mean, this was pretty nice. I had praises, all but praises for this figure, hardly any complaints with it. But now that we have the new deluxe version, I think he's going to get replaced. For most collectors, this is going to be the new Beachcomber. And this guy is just really out of scale, despite being a tremendously, just an amazing figure back in the day. A lot of collectors are going to be letting this one go, I'm pretty sure. The transformation, though, is very similar, and we'll get to that now. Speaking of the transformation, to get him into his dune buggy alt mode, it's the same thing. You got to pop the chest up like that, and that collapses that head sculpt. This thing, the roll cage or roll bar, you got to move it up like that. The arms are going to stay like that. Now, the instructions tell you to join the legs together immediately before you fold it. I would suggest you fold the legs first before combining them. So to do so, fold these seats out and front part of the roll bar. Fold these panels out and then fold up the legs as you would do the Power of the Primes figure and G1 figure. Then you can combine the legs and the feet. You can combine the roll bar, and then the feet, the instructions say to just tab them onto the back of the torso, but they don't really stay in place, so that you know, that's fine. You can go ahead and close up these panels right here. We'll do this part last. The arms, they are going to tab onto the sides of the torso. It's a little tough. That's probably the most difficult part of the transformation. And then they're going to tab onto the bottom of the feet. That solidifies the dune buggy mode. And then finally, you just tab in and complete transformation with this roll bar. It's very similar to how the Power of the Primes transforms. And there you go. There is Beachcomber in his dune buggy alt mode. And I was rolling him for the first time and I noticed it's a very dull, smooth sound. And the reason being is, if you noticed, we have rubber tires. I mean, come on, Hasbro. Are we going back to the golden age of Transformers back in G1 in the 80s with rubber tires? This is fantastic. I mean, I don't think I can complain about this figure because of these rubber tires. I mean, it's already a great figure, both in alt mode and in robot mode, and to add riveted wheels or riveted tires and rubber tires. Not the flimsy rubber that you had. This is premium G1 styled rubber tires. Absolutely amazing. Well done, Hasbro. Now the weapons, they form the front part of the grill or the bumper, front part of the buggy, which is fine. Kind of obvious, so you don't really have to put it there. The instructions also tell you to put it up here, and it forms like a cannon, sort of like his battle mode. And then the Parakeet, you can plug it in right here or anywhere you want. So plug it right there. And again, like I said, this really doesn't do anything for this figure. The figure alone without the Parakeet is actually pretty nice. Very, very cool. I'm just very, very pleased with the way this thing turned out. So let me just put this back in so we can appreciate how awesome and amazing this figure is. It's going to be one of the best figures of the year, I guarantee. Look at this. It even has some gauges right there underneath his feet. It would be nice if they could paint that, but it's all right. I'm sure customizers can do a better job with that. So very, very cool looking dune buggy alt mode of Beachcomber. For comparison, in alt mode, here he is with a couple of deluxes. We've got tracks. And we've got hubcap. This is essentially the Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper mold. So he's pretty big in alt mode. He's almost as big as a regular sized deluxe class figure in alt mode. So yeah, very nice. And then finally here he is with the Power of the Primes Beachcomber, both now in their dune buggy alt mode, and he just looks more G1. This one's really cool in alt mode. It's so stylized and it's still a good figure. But this one is the more G1 accurate one. And yeah, I'm sad to say that this thing's going to get replaced, at least in my collection. I'm sure a lot of collectors are going to do the same, but I mean, he's still worth hanging on to. But if you just want one Beachcomber, this is the one you want to get. Look at that. I mean, come on, really. And so some final thoughts on this Legacy Evolution Beachcomber. Need I say more? I am blown away by this figure. I think it turned out great, more than I expected, or just what I expected it to be. The hype on this one was just spot on. One of the best figures in the line, definitely. Now, what to do with the older figure? It's still a great figure. You can still hang on to it if you're into the Legend scale, but if you want a more accurate, a better scaled Beachcomber figure, more accurate to its G1 counterpart in a modern version, updated version, then this is the figure for you. Best of luck to everybody hunting this figure down. I'm pretty sure it's going to be hoarded and scalped like crazy, so don't pay too much for it. I mean, just get it if you can at regular price. This figure, because it has an amazing robot mode, amazing sculpt. The alt mode is so G1. Transformation was pretty terrific. The only problem I had with it was that Parakeet. It was an unnecessary, useless bit of plastic that they could have used to really augment and improve that blaster rifle. Everything else is perfect, and this figure deserves a 10 out of 10. But I don't know. I think this figure deserves an 11 out of 10. Just amazing. Well done to the designers of Hasbro and Takratomi for giving us this figure. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers Generations Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Beachcomber and Paradise Parakeet. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.